And we're live. What's happening, crypto fam? Welcome back to Love for Crypto Show live. Tonight we're going to be talking about Hyperledger Fabric. I'm Scott. Let's get to it. Hey, boo. So last night I wiped my laptop, completely wiped it, took Windows off it, put Ubuntu on it, and ran the Hyperledger Fabric first version testnet. I haven't really got a clue what I did, but it worked. Now we've got to learn what I did. I've got to learn actually basically what I did, but I'm going to show you what I did, what tutorial I went through, just to prove that my laptop could run a network on Hyperledger Fabric, and I could run and support a testnet that I can then build on. Whether we choose to do it on Fabric, Composer, or another tool on Hyperledger, yet to be decided. But it's something I'm extremely passionate in getting into and helping people do, helping people get to the point where they can have a personal ledger and they can decide whether it's just going to run the house, their own data on their own value, or whether they're going to grow business and run the business through it as well. The possibilities are endless, really. What's up, Crypto Insomniac? Not too much, mate. Good to see you in the stream. So for starters, I'll start by saying, if you know how to code, or you know a little bit of coding, or you think you'll pick it up rapid just by reading a generic tutorial of Hyperledger, come here. If you're that person and you just don't really know where to go to build your first network, come here to Hyperledger. Might as well start with Fabric. It's private permissioned network. So if it was to run your home, for instance, you could decide who gets access to which rooms, you can operate what device in your house, and so on. Very, very, very handy. So if you know a little bit of coding but don't know where to go, you're going to come here, build your first network, and you're going to click on that. It's going to bring you to this page, and it's going to be like building your first network. It says it's been depreciated. Excuse me, but it still works. It's still the same in that the scenario provisions a sample Hyperledger Fabric network consisting of 2 organizations, each maintaining 2 peer nodes. It will also deploy a raft ordering service by default. I was looking at it the other night and I'm thinking, yeah, and I'm supposed to understand that, bruh. Like, nice, Sam. Interesting. We'll have to let me know what you're doing them on and what you're running them on and that. Like I say, I'm just trying to get my head around it at the moment. No doubt. Like, listen, I'm not in the clouds. My head's not in the clouds. Gonna need a developer at some point. Gonna need to hire one, pay one, sit down with him, work it with him. But talking about a personal ledger here. Not just going to go and hire someone and let them just build it all completely for me, and I don't know how it works. I want to sit with someone and at least understand the fundamentals of it, know I've got a machine that can run it, and then work with that person to build a testnet and walk away knowing how to build my actual network on my own, and then whatever happens, whether it's personal business or whatnot, or clearly if it's business you're going to hire developers. So anyway, any developer is going to be able to follow this. Anyone who knows a little bit of coding is going to be able to follow this and going to know exactly what to do. Want to run it now, the crypto generator, configuration transaction generator, run the tools, start the network. They're going to get it. They'll understand it. I didn't, right? If someone wants a Windows or Mac one, it was Mac on Windows. There's this guy here now. He's going into depth, this guy. Links in the description. Of how the network, he give a look. Where's that view? Like this, he was showing really the network and the anchor, and I put this on just for a little bit of fundamental understanding in it, really. But the guy who proper nailed it on the head is this guy, and props to him. If you saw me tweet today, it was for this guy. Thank you, my friend, SourceMake. Thank you very much. Now, this is a copy and paste Ethereum. You know, if you was to go to Ethereum and make an ERC20 token, and you just copy and paste the protocols, and you put the amount of tokens you want, and you pay the price of whatever it costs to start the blockchain, and boom, you've got that blockchain, but you didn't understand how you did it, you don't know how it works, and you've got nothing but a blockchain with cryptocurrencies on it. This is kind of like that. You're going to copy and paste it. You're not really going to understand any of it if you don't read through the previous page more. But the fact of the matter is, you can learn to, at least if you do it the way I did, which I'll show you in a minute with Ubuntu, it's going to allow you to learn how to go open source on a machine and start just taking dives into testing stuff, test Fabric, test Composer, test the basis samples of what these networks have to offer. So this guy goes through it, and he gives it's a good 11-minute thing, to be honest. And legitimately, let me play a little bit of it, because by the time he gets onto Ubuntu, and where is he? So he's there.
We're going to copy each one of these lines and paste them in. Press enter. It's that simple. So I'm going to type password.
So this now, as he's in the terminal box there of Ubuntu inside the documents folder file, right? What he's actually doing is copying and pasting these commands one at a time into his terminal, then entering, and that is installing the prerequisites. From here, install prerequisites. So that's what he's doing there. So he was able to copy and paste that for me, which was only really going to be a copy and paste from here because the prerequisites, so the samples work. It's what you need anyway. So it's only a matter of copy and pasting. It's the data and the documents within it that you're going to have a proper read to understand the fundamentals. So if we just give that a little click there, right click, open a new tab, it obviously gives you a lot more information. Before we begin, if you haven't already done so, you may wish to check that you have all the prerequisites below installed on the platforms. So going on about the Dockers, and again, it's got a lot of terminology that makes you think, well, what's actually mean there? You know, when not really a coder. Google's your friend, man. Google's your friend. So basically, when you get to this bit, he's installing the prerequisites. It's as easy as that.
And if it asks, do you want to continue?
It does it
yes,
itself.
No, type Y and press enter, and that's it. So we're going to do this for all of these, and this is going to be really simple to install all of the commands that we need.
Hey, Legendary, Fatter, Chris XRP,
and now we're going
Howder.
to install Go. And I'm going to press Y, and I'm just going to do this for all of these commands. It's going to be too boring to do on screen, so I'm going to pause the video.
Yeah, drop me a DM if you will, please.
I'm not going to do anything special. Just install each one of these, copy and paste.
I'm extremely interested in let's not talk over him. I'm extremely interested in like which networks other people are already using. And with Hyperledger being so big on enterprise, it just seemed like the right way to go personally. They're all always like business, enterprise, but whatever runs a business can just be tweaked ever so slightly and can run your life in your house, and it can make life a little bit easier. We've seen Matt Farley's house with his kids being paid for doing chores and stuff like that, so we know it's possible. Just none of us, or me personally, don't know how to build it yet. Don't know how to build it. Might need to sit down with your developer as well, whoever you got to build it. But yeah, so basically, to do it, we needed Ubuntu. So, it was pull Windows time. Now, we had to, I've actually forgot to get a link up here, so apologies for that. It's Rufus. So, you got to get Rufus. Download Rufus. This is going to burn the USB. So, it's going to burn the file, it's going to burn the program of Ubuntu onto the USB. You go, get Ubuntu, put it on Rufus. If you go on, it shows you how to do it. Let me just click on. Legitimately, when you open it on your machine, you can do it on the laptop. I suggest you do a laptop. I did a laptop. So that laptop is now open source. It just legitimately feels like a developer laptop now. It feels like, if anyone's on Android, and they went on Android from Apple, and they realised how much better Android was. Microsoft to PCs is what Apple is to phones. And now that laptop's gone open source, it's like, wow, it feels like a developer's laptop. Feels like I can just do so much more on it. But when you're on a laptop with Windows, you're going to get Rufus. You're going to open it, this page will come. You're going to download Ubuntu, the chosen Ubuntu. When this opens, you're going to drag the Ubuntu file into there, where it says boot selection. Have this page open at the same time I did. I had them open side by side, so I knew that it was matching this. Don't worry about the cluster size. You can see that legitimately when I went this, what did that say a minute ago? Rufus. Cluster size Ubuntu. Cluster size. I didn't know what it meant. I was like, what does that mean? So I was Googling it all, and it still don't really know what's best and what's worse, except for in most of the forums, people will say, look, if it's giving you a default, it's probably had a look at the system, and it's giving you the default for your system for how it's best going to work. If it then doesn't work on Hyperledger Fabric with the selections, if Hyperledger Fabric doesn't run with what you've done here, the system probably won't support a Fabric network. So you'll download that, you'll whack it in Rufus, it'll be on your USB. You can then go on your laptop and either install it with Windows and keep Windows on it, or you can completely wipe Windows. If you don't know how to do that, again, Google's your friend, or drop a comment on this video tonight or in the future if you want me to do a proper in-depth video of how I actually wiped my laptop and moved it from Windows to Ubuntu, because I ain't got Windows on that laptop anymore. I didn't put them side by side, so when I booted up I chose which one to open. I've just put Ubuntu on the laptop, and it's going to be my testnet laptop to test Hyperledger programs for the next however many months it takes me to get my head around them completely, or at least well enough to work a network on it and start to build on them. So most of these links are in the description. Also, that other video, some people, if you're on Windows and you don't want to lose Windows, you don't want to go the Ubuntu way, don't have to, just follow this video instead. Follow this guy instead, what he does here. And he does it on Mac, Windows. I watched that because it was just a little longer and he was going a little bit in depth. Again, I still don't really understand it, but I'm starting to get my head around it a little bit. This guy, I love it a bit. So I've already watched his iRower one. I've watched his Composer one, which is the next one I'm going to do. I've dropped the link of this, which is building blockchain apps with Hyperledger Composer. And I've also dropped the link of this one, which is Hyperledger Composer Intro and Playground Tutorial in 20 minutes. It's the same thing with the Hyperledger Fabric ones. So if you just blast through it with a copy and pasting, you're not really going to come out understanding it on the back end. The only thing you're going to know is you can get it up and running, and sometimes that's all that matters, because once you can get it up and running, then you can then go to the documentation and be like, right, well, how does that work? What have I just got up and running? How exactly does it work? And what key features of it and commands and actions and events can I tweak and change to suit the network I want? That's what we've got to do. This guy on this one, I think it was this one, he's going into Composer being easier than Fabric, but you've got more control in Fabric. So again, you're gonna have you want to do a little bit of research on which framework from Hyperledger is actually going to suit you, because as we all know, there's more than one. There's quite a few, to be honest. You can build, as far as I'm aware, on iRoha, Sawtooth, Fabric, Cello, Burrow, Indies for Identities. It's almost never ending with the amount of projects, and look at that there, like that's about credentials. we'll try and cover as much as we can, as fast as we can. But I urge you all to go and get your head in a little bit of the code yourselves as well, because when you've not really been doing it, it's a bit mind-boggling, really. If you're not ready for it, I must admit. The composer. Let me actually get that up because it's got a web version. The playground. Playground tutorial. This is what I'm doing next. The step-by-step tutorial will walk through setting up a business network, defining our assets, participants and transactions, and testing our network by creating some participants in an asset and submitting transactions to change the ownership of the asset from one to another. This tutorial is intended to act as an introduction to Hyperledger Composer concepts using the online playground environment. Open Composer Playground. Note this link will take you to the web playground. You can also follow along. Show it, man. Not found. You should see the My Business Network screen. I didn't see that, lad. My Business Network. Yeah, see, so I need to have a look at this. But I will say, if you watch this video when I've come off, watch this guy, because this guy really he explains it quite well from business perspective. But again,
he's using the blockchain.
It doesn't need to be business specific. You can use this in your personal life. You can use it in your house. You just need to tweak the commands and the actions and the events. It's as simple as that.
Just a standard.
This is off a car purchase, but it shows how it goes through the different apps through the same blockchain.
Mobile application built with Ionic and Angular, I believe. I'm not a UI
yes,
developer,
Scott.
so don't quiz me on those parts. And so we're going to build a car. We'll go for the Arium Nova. Anyone want to pick some options, standard or executive trim? Executive. Color? Purple. Interior color? Rum. Good choice. Extras, tinted windows. I recommend the extended warranty. These Arium cars are a bit dodgy. So I'm going to click the purchase and build button. So what happened when I clicked that button was a transaction got submitted to the blockchain to record that order onto the ledger. And we can see that Mike, from his Arium manufacturing dashboard, has instant insight into this order appearing in the blockchain network. You can see that it's popped up and it's ready to start manufacture. Most importantly, though, we can see that a transaction has been added to Debbie's regulatory dashboard view of the blockchain, so she can see and she has instant insight into that order being placed. Let's switch hats to Mike and kick off the manufacturing process. This bit requires a lot of imagination, I'm afraid. There's no real factory floor tied to this button. And as we imagine the vehicle moving through the factory floor, as events like the chassis being built, the chassis number being stamped into it going through the paint shop, we're going to submit additional transactions to record those updates onto the blockchain. You'll see that the status update's there. Paul gets instant insight into his vehicle.
So, that was going pretty deep. That was basically writing a smart contract for the creation of a vehicle as it had just been purchased. Like, legitimately talking about making the vehicle as and when someone orders it and pays for it. And then everyone involved in the transaction has their own app through the permission blockchain that they have access to. It's the way the world's gonna work in the future, innit? And when you get all your smart houses And everyone's got all the smart houses and the smart devices and their IoT devices, and it's going to be running through either Alexa or Google or Virgin server, Sky Home server. You're going to see all stuff like that come out, I think. And they're going to try and run the server in your home. The corporations are going to be like, yo, do you want one of our servers? It runs your home, it does this. Some people have already got them with a Google Home Hub or the Samsung SmartThings Hub. Or, you know, when it's only going to hive, it's only going to grow, and they're only going to get bigger and end up full-on home servers for Internet of Things devices and tapping into the Internet of Value. Whereas we can spend the next few years learning about building our own personal network so that by whenever it really, really, truly starts kicking off, let's say 2025 and beyond, because we won't see true smart IOV, ILP connected houses until then, I don't think, but you never know. If more people like Matt Farley were about, we'd see a lot more of them, won't we? But commercially, I don't think you're going to see that kind of device, the ILP Samsung fridge. Like the Samsung fridge connected to Internet of Value through Hyperledger protocol. I'm not quite sure how long it's going to take for devices like that. But Ubuntu for Internet of Things, Ubuntu server, Ubuntu desktop. It's all there, the tutorials. They've got tutorials on their own site. Hyperledger got tutorials on their own stuff, like the walkthroughs, and build your first networks. Not only on the sites themselves, we've got brilliant people online breaking it down in their way. I mean, like a shout out again to this guy, mate. Watched him a right few times. Did it for me, you lad. Yeah. Someone get him a big like on Twitter. Tell him to make more Hyperledger. We'll all start watching him and I won't have to do anything. Not regarding Hyperledger stuff. We could all just learn off him. Well, see, this is what I'm saying, Chris. Smart doorbells now. Smart doorbells, mate. Let's say you build a Hyperledger Fabric server in your house. You build a network on the server in your house. It's a permission network. But your mates have got certain permissions to ask for certain actions, i.e. he's on his way to your house, he's 50 metres away, he asks the blockchain if you can get in the house, you get a ping up, your house is like, Dan's nearly at the door, she'll let him in, and you're like, yeah. Do you know what I mean? You don't need a doorbell, bruh. The door's like someone coming up to the door. Do you want to see him? Like, it's just a camera in it. They don't need the actual bell. It's just a camera and a sensor now. And we're still going to call it a doorbell. I wonder if you still call it a doorbell when there's no I wonder if we will still call it a doorbell when there's no longer a bell. Or chime. Yes, baby family followed the video. Nice. But yeah, no, on a serious note, the permission network for your home is what you'll really want. Private permission network for your own data, for your own value, for your own identity. You can talk about, they're not going to need to message the blockchain. You'll give them a fob. Do you know what I mean? And it'll be like, you'll give certain family members will have fobs. And it's next level stuff. Would you want Alexa, or would you want to be able to get Ubuntu Internet of Things and some tools and frameworks on offline and off GitHub, and be able to make your own APIs with stuff like Node-RED? So forget Node-RED up now. No, that's an I, Scott. We wanted an O. Node-RED. So nodered.org, getting started. Flows? You want the flows? So this came straight up on my laptop once I had Ubuntu on it. It was straight up on Firefox. Like legitimately as if it was going to let me use it online. Run locally, get started. Running locally, just open it, man. Prerequisites install. I don't want to install it. I just want to run it online. Install with npm. Install with docker. Install with snap. Running. Once installed, go no. See, it just runs on Linux. Fuck you, Windows. See what I mean? It's like an iPhone, mate. Like PC was like an iPhone, and I never even realised it. Need to do virtual machines and Dockers. I've not learned how to run Dockers on Windows, or open virtual machines or virtual boxes on Windows, because I was just like, nah, I'm not doing that. I'm just wiping Windows off my laptop and putting Ubuntu on. That's why I did it. You've legitimately just seen one of the reasons why I did it, because seriously, the other day when I come on this, I didn't even see any of these screens when I was on Ubuntu. I just went Node Red, open it, and bam, it was open in Ubuntu, in Firefox, online. Nah, fuck that. Yeah. Start Node Red on boot. Raspberry Pi. I've got a Raspberry Pi with it on it. But Node Red, can I get a picture up of Node Red? Because I want to be able to explain why I want to get on that now. Right, there's one. Stop it. It needs to stop it. So I'll enlarge the picture. Right. Yes, Notorious. Thank you, mate. Love it. I've seen a few smart home systems, but probably a lot more advancements to come. Or Scott, mate, the advancements to come are beyond belief, mate. Don't get me wrong. They all depend on the AIs and the sensors and the Internet of Things devices. Excuse me, that get brought out. But this, if we go, for instance, with like, look at the inputs and the outputs and the executions and the actions, and there's all different tabs that you can get up that left side there, and you can filter the nodes called nodes, and then you can deploy it somewhere. So you make the bot. You can create a bot on this through nodes, and then deploy the bot. So let's imagine we just want some messaging bot, and it wants to send a message to someone every time it sees an hashtag or something. You'll get an input and execute action node, and it'll wait for something, and you'll enter some data in it, say like, wait for hashtag on Twitter, wait for view Twitter and wait for a hashtag, boom. When the bot sees that hashtag, you'll give it an action. So action, upon seeing the hashtag, send me a message, blah, blah, blah. Carry on, and then execution at the bottom, deploy the bot, and then whenever someone pings that hashtag on Twitter, or whatever hashtag you told the bot to look for, say like we want to know how many people are posting about DLTCon in September, and we want to make a bot that's like, look, go on Twitter, mate, and like see hashtag DLTCon, see if anyone's tweeting it, and then boom, it'll let me know then every time someone tweets that hashtag. I mean, that's a simple bot that's not really of much use to anyone, but you get the gist of how through Node Red you can make your own little bots, which once you've learned it can become your own little artificial intelligence. Why would you want Amazon Alexa when you can go on Create Alexa Skills, build steps to build a custom Alexa skills? You start going into Amazon Alexa and Amazon Web Services, and look at the coding behind the Alexa skills and how the Alexa works. And then come to Node Red, buy some microphones, some speakers, build your own server, and just whack your own bots about your own house. And you've got your own artificial intelligence, the same as... I mean, Matt Farley used Alexa, didn't he? But I'm saying if you didn't want Alexa transcribing everything that's said in your house... Don't know what's in Alexa that makes it do that, and whether you can take it out. But if you can't take it out, you want your own AI, don't you? And you can build an AI through Node Red if you learn how. In fact, was that be on Google? Node.js. So there's one that I highlighted, Tech Talk using Node-RED and AI to analyze social media, IBM developer. IBM Cloud, Node-RED, and Watson Artificial Intelligence. So there you go. There it is. So through IBM Watson. Interesting. We'll have that turned down. I'll turn him back up a minute. So
if you're looking at, for example, an Internet of Things hackathon project where you might use hardware.
Mate. What happened then? He's in Node-RED, so there you go. Node-RED and Watson AI. Clouds off you robust platform creating that space. Right? But again, do you want to rely on IBM Watson, or is there a way to create your own? Another thing we'll be digging into. IBM Watson. No danger, donut SA. But yeah, Node-RED is an extremely powerful piece of software if we learn how to do it. Seriously, I'll go as far as to say I believe you could make trading bots off this, just legitimately waiting for something to be overbought or oversold, or for a certain moving average. Yeah, so just waiting for certain indicators. You could make trading bots. The nodes do link to exchanges and price movement. So that's another interesting aspect of it, trading bots. But we'll just stick at first. It's nice to know that when we're actually ready for it, though, that there's content out there to teach us how to build our own AIs and our own bots. Let's try again just one more time. No, Scott. I'll learn to type one day. Telegram bot command, Telegram bot switch, Telegram notify, Telegram bot setup. You will need to set up a Telegram bot in order to use these nodes. You can follow these instructions on how to do it in the summary. Create the bot, the message, name the bot, give the bot a username, grab the token, send the bot a message, grab the chat ID. Alright, yeah, I'll just go and fucking do that, mate, yeah. Now, don't get me wrong, they expect you to be a coder and that, but I'm reaching out for some easier to explain stuff. Telegram nodes, though, so you can build bots that integrate with Telegram. You can build bots that integrate with Facebook. You can build little bots that integrate with Twitter. It's about installing the nodes and then build your bot and deploy the API on a server somewhere, and it will legitimately do what you've programmed it to do. It will. You could have monitoring your emails and replying to people. I actually tried to make one for Facebook, and when I was halfway through it, I needed a code off Facebook for their API code, so I could tap into their APIs on the back end and make a chat bot. And then I found out that they've got their own chat bot that's been activated on the Facebook now, since I checked it. So I couldn't add the chat bot I was making, so I just kind of give up on it. I was trying to do it on the Raspberry Pi, but that is down here. That's a Raspberry Pi. I mean, it's got a little touch screen that can be used, or it can be plugged in HDMI to a monitor. It's got 4 USBs, it's got Ethernet, and I think it's got 4 gig of RAM. Quad processor, 4 gig of RAM. That's more powerful than some laptops with i3 processor or less. That little box there is more powerful than an i3 laptop with less than 8 gig memory. But But yeah, guys, tea time soon. And Scott there, nice mate. Probably just gonna have a few pies, mate. A few pies in the oven with some waffles, lad. And I'll what I'm gonna do. This is my night. Let me close some of these. Rufus. That. What's that one? That. I don't know what's that again. Gets a bit annoying at times, but I've got to watch. It's easy to watch that bit where it's visuals and it's showing Susan pass something to Dave, and Debbie's looking at Paul over the table. Alex is like, It's easy when it's visuals, innit? But when it's a page of that is when we really need to be paying attention. So I'm working with a guy at the moment who's going to be breeding dogs and stuff. And these are on the Composer playground now. So if we look into these commands here, and we're like, someone's like place order, and then the console's like jog place order. Someone's doing an order here, yo. So the factory's like, oh, get factory. The vehicle lifecycle manufacturer, organization name vehicle lifecycle, whatever that is there. It's probably the reg or something in it, but that's gonna be the details about the vehicle. Alright, and then the next one, the factory vehicle sorta in the first one, and the next one, order factory, blah, 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 order vehicle details equals place order vehicle details order placed. That could be order BMW 3 Series M3 place order equals M3, and then it's order status placed, manufacturer placed, and then it starts building your M3 and your order. So it's learning about how all these commands and how these commands not only becoming an actual transaction, but actually implement an action, an event on your blockchain. They track the event. They make the smart contracts. And again, it's easier to take an example of some, like this guy here. He has sheep. So he's taking sheep from a farm and he sells a guy 50 sheep. So he adds 50 sheep to the blockchain.
Giraffe or something like that. This is kind of similar. So you see, so you should know how that works. What we need to do is define our transaction.
Actually, he's gone on the restaurant by now. But he starts, Iroha was the farm one, excuse me. Hyperledger, Iroha is the farm with 50 sheep. And this one is the one with a restaurant. I've not paid much attention to the end of this. That's why I was thrown then and I knew I'd not watched it. Let's, because there is another one as well on his YouTube. He's on it, the guy. He just had a few more videos going a little bit more in depth. It'd have been a little bit better, but seriously, get on him. Have you gone, lad?
Hey.
There he is. So on this one, he has the 50 sheep, and this is like another blockchain. So what he does is when he gets into this, there's his terminal on Ubuntu with his blockchain on Iroha running.
To this Docker container. So we're in this Docker container right now. You see our terminal changed, and now we are just going to actually run Iroha with this command. So enter, and now Iroha is running. So this terminal right here is acting as our Iroha network. Again, blockchain is supposed to be decentralized, right? And you're supposed to have the blockchain on everyone's computers. But for this tutorial, we're just going to have it in this one container, this one terminal, so that we can just, see how Iroha works. So our Iroha network is set up. It's all in this terminal. Go us. Good job. So next, we want to interact with Iroha by actually making some transactions. And you can see that we have some more commands to run. So you're going to open a brand new terminal, right click, open new terminal. Don't close the other one because that's where our blockchain is right now. If you do that, our blockchain goes down offline, which isn't good. So what we're going to do is we're going to open the Iroha command line tool. And right now we're going to log into our Docker Iroha. You can see that we're just going to, hopefully I entered the right password. No, I got it wrong. Sorry, that was a new mistake. So you can see we're logged in as a Roja right now in this Docker container, and
Again, going to be extremely easy to follow this guy here and be doing it and be doing bits, but understanding it fundamentally. So, for instance, like Googling signing into Docker, like blockchain, like look into the Dockers and stuff. Let me know if we need if we legitimately want like proper broke down videos, because I will be doing this in the future everywhere. Anyway, like I say, we'll be running workshops, because it's extremely hard to teach people about this through a camera. As I'm having now, I just want to grab this guy out the screen and ask him some questions. But we're just doing as in a little example here on iRobot. We're going to like format new transactions, choose command to add. And the number, so all he's got to do is put a number in the terminal box, and it starts making commands. Detach a role from account, add new role to account, create new role, set account key value detail, transfer assets, grant permission over your account, subtract assets quantity from account, set account quorum, remove signatory, blah 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 blah, and more. And it does bits. It makes transactions. Where's the there we go. Source make farm is his domain. And
if you count sheep, that's what people
I just
do.
want you to see him put the transaction
anyway, our asset name is going to be sheep. What's the domain? It belongs to source make farm, right? It's our sheep. That's what we're doing. The precision is 0, which basically means, is there a decimal point? You know, US dollars, how much can you break it up into? You can break it up into pennies, which is 2 decimal points. You can't break sheep up at all. Sheep are whole numbers, so the precision is 0. And what do we want to do now? Well, let's send it to the Aroha pair with option 2. And, you know, that this just means
he's making smart contracts for sheep. Now, like I said before, I work with a guy who's doing a dog breeding thing. So if he was to build a blockchain similar to this, or with Composer, where as the dog's born, smart contracts created, got a birth of a dog, it's going to be named. It's going to have the date and time of when it was birthed, when it was born. It's going to have the breed of the dog. Is it pedigree or not? Yes, no. Is it male, female? Yes, no. And then its life cycle has started on the blockchain and being tracked. Then for its injections and any vet visits, again, tracked on the blockchain, its family tree on the blockchain, all the way up till its death, its full life cycle and full family tree, tracked on the breeder's personal or business, in that case, blockchain.
we have our 2 commands.
And it's as easy as figuring out how these networks work. The fundamental foundations of them. It's just about getting them up on a system, getting your testnet. How many years has Bank of England been in testnet, mate? How many years has some of the companies that we know been in testnet? Hyperledger have been at it since 2015, pretty much just testnetting it out. So we should be joining the testnet. Should have your own testnet on the go. Legitimately, everyone needs to start try to dive into this. Think back to 1995. Between then and 2000. So from 95 up to 1999, yeah. Get off. If only would have took coding a bit seriously. Don't know about people watching, but I was one of them, man. I was like, oh, I'll be alright about it, innit? Be alright without it. And by now, I'm wishing I'd have learnt to code years ago. I really, really am. Not expertly, just basics. I wish I knew the basics. I really do. And I'm teaching myself the basics now. Thanks to this guy, yeah. The only thing that he did is like, now bring the blockchain up with the following command. Bisho shish up. And boom, your blockchain's live, your Hyperledger fabric. It's like, yeah, if everything worked, then you successfully created your first fabric network. Congratulations. Let's bring it down for now. Boom. So as fast as it went up, it come down. I was tempted on leaving it. I was like, no, I don't want to take it down. I've only just put it up. I don't understand it. But yeah, he was a very, very, very good teacher, to be honest. Let me go back to what he said, because this is fundamental when it comes to it, and it's in the Hyperledger one.
From, and you need to read through all of this. Some bad news for you. You have a lot of homework to do. What we did was really just the tip of the iceberg. What you really need to do is you need to go to this official tutorial where we took all of those commands. Well, not all the commands, but we got
links in description.
And you need to read through all of this to see how it works under the hood, to see what those scripts were doing, to see how all this works. You need to read all of this. So that's the next thing you need to do after you do this. You need to read all of this. And then when you finish that, there are some other official tutorials, so it's not...
After reading all that, and after getting your head around Fabric and the scripts and how it all works, if it meets the base of blockchain that you want to build, you're good to go then with that testnet and run with it. If it doesn't really fit what you want to do and you still want to use Fabric, you're going to have to figure out how to change some of the attributes of the network and some of the samples of the network yourself, which will mean learning coding a little deeper, a little sooner than you would have had to. You just copy and tweak other people's commands from similar commands. It's a grind game, innit, guys? It's a grind game. It ain't throwing degrees and courses out for this, are there? So I'm just gonna do it myself, me, and then throw my own little workshop day out, because it's gonna be massive in the future. I know it is. Hopefully, well, the people watching this and coming on the journey with me, you should be able to learn with me. You shouldn't really need the workshop later down the line. The workshop's for the masses that are just completely blind to it still. And by 2023, they're like, well, I won't mind my own server, but how am I supposed to do that? By then, we'll have ours by then. So that's basically what it's about. And this is what it's about when I say using knowledge of the tech. Using knowledge of the tech to your advantage. You've got to think of outside the box. You've got to think outside the box, and this is interesting me at the moment. This might grow to something where we have legitimately monthly running workshops where we fit personal ledgers in people's houses or help them build one in their own house, and we run advisory and maintenance thing, and God knows what after that. Do you know what I mean? It's they'll all come running eventually for personal ledgers without a shadow of a doubt. Scott only 19. Wow. Just try to process that you're born after 2000. Like, I left school before you were born, man. Do you know what I mean? That's a bit out there, that. It's a bit out there, that. Mate. I'm aged, not old. Yeah, so it sends you to the, Jesus. Sends you here for the Fabric one every time. Every time. Crypto generator. See, it's telling you how it works, but it's still hard to get your head around it. Cryptogen consumes a file. Crypto-configuration YAML that contains the network topology and allows us to generate a set of certificate and keys for both the organizations and the components that belong to those organizations. Each organization is provisioned a unique root certificate that binds specific components, peers and orders, to that organization. By assigning each organization a unique CA certificate, we are mimicking a typical network where the participating member would use its own certificate authority. Transactions and communications within Hyperledger Fabric are assigned by an entity's private key and then verified by means of a public key. Interesting. This is going to take a lot of reading and rereading and rereading and rereading and rereading, and then someone else telling me what it is, and then rereading. And then we might just start getting our head around a little bit of it. But no, on a serious note, this is the testnet and this is the tutorial. It drags you through it. It's hard to get your head round. I'm extremely glad that he was online. Without him, I wouldn't have known that the laptop's capable of doing Hyperledger Fabric. I wouldn't have known that I was able to add it to the laptop, even if I don't understand how it works and that. It's on Ubuntu, it's on my laptop, it's there now. I can just give it a command and it's live again. So for that, I'm forever grateful to the lad. But I wish he'd have gone through this a bit, because he even says you got your own work to do. It's like, bruh,
End.
got some of this here. Like, it wouldn't have minded him going through a bit of this. You've got the different languages as well, Node.js, Java. Multiple ways of doing it. It's not just one way of doing it. It's a bit cray, yo. Back to flaming school, guys. Back to flaming school. I will... Right, yeah, I'm gonna... Yeah, I've just decided. In the next week or two, I'll put OBS on the new laptop. Well, it's the same laptop, but the new system on the laptop. I'll put OBS on Ubuntu on that. And then I will do a screen record live session of me, well, of him doing his... Where's he gone? Where have he gone, bruh? There. His composer intro and playground tutorials. And then we'll have a look. And where's that other one gone as well? There was another one. It's probably that night. I want that one. It was someone else. I will go through the composer tutorials and the Hyperledger one on my laptop myself and legitimately just show it you and get Hyperledger back up. And then we'll have a blockchain. We got a network. It's nothing but the samples and prerequisites. It's the basic network. But it's Hyperledger themselves build your first network. It's what they've put out for you to get the gist of it. This is not like some random tutorial. This is the tutorial from a Hyperledger Fabric. Read the docs. It's in the URL, innit? Read the docs, mate. Read the docs. Using the Fabric test network. After you've downloaded the Hyperledger Fabric Docker images and samples, you can deploy a test network by using scripts that are provided in the samples repository. You can use a test network to learn about Fabric by running nodes on your local machine. More experienced developers can use a network to test their smart contracts and applications. The network is meant to be used only as a tool for education and testing. It should not be used as a template for deploying a production network. The test network is being introduced in Fabric version 2 as long-term replacement for the first network sample. It's all testnet. They're still in testnet, bro. Like... The test network's being introduced. This is the first network sample. The first version. Version 1, guys. If there's any time to start getting your head round this, it's now. It's not during version 3. Not during version 5. Not during version 2. The test network, whenever that drops. It's now. Version 1. And, yeah, we'll get some of this information, put it all together, and we'll move forward learning how to actually do it. Because it's burning my brain. It burns your brain, mate. It burns. I've just had to close that. Burns your brain. Exactly, Chris. But this is yeah. So you could have your own software. You could start making your own software. With your own way of doing it, and then build smart houses with that kind of network pre-built in, and whoever moves in will just be told that it's run on a smart network. It's got a device on the wall that's connected to everything. It can immediately connect to your phone and other devices, and you're good to go with a little user's manual and stuff like that. On the other side of it, you can set up a consulting business for advisory, maintenance, and upgrades of such system. Do you know what I mean? It's not like people are just going to want to keep doing it all themselves. They've got lives to live. And that consultancy can go all the way from domestic in the house to landlords and commercial and B2B. Really, really can. There's the potential in the distributed ledger technology consultancy business is absolutely massive. And there ain't no degrees in it, mate, yet. And if you've got enough, if you gain enough knowledge and gain enough following and build something good enough yourself, you ain't going to need a degree. You're not going to need a degree in shit. It don't matter because you've done it. Look at Vitsvind. He built a little bot. You could have probably built it. It wouldn't surprise me if he built it on Node-RED. It's either Node-RED or Node.js, wasn't it? He built it on one of them. Built a little bot. Runs the tip bot. And now it's XRP Labs and he's smashing it with a Spring investment and stuff. He didn't need a degree to get all that. He just needed to know how to make XRP Tipbot and then XRP payments and keep going from there. He's now got the Zoom app. Do you know what I mean? It's about using the knowledge to it's not about just buying an asset and getting rich off that. Fuck's that. Everyone's got that dream and everyone's got the dream of loads of money and all that, but legitimately, fundamentally, how are you going to use this technology to, one, make your life easier and better, and two, open it up more so you've got more things making money for you, you've got more revenue streams, more of your hobbies are becoming revenue streams. It's all about building brand and business online now at the moment, and it's only going to get bigger. Internet of Things, voice activated devices, it's all about voice search and brand. Do you know what I mean? It's if someone says to an Alexa, give me Jimmy James from up the street, it's only going to give one Jimmy James in it. Even if there's 10 Jimmy James, it can only give one thing back. There's only one reply in a voice reply. Do you know what I mean? It's that kind of world. Hard to even get your head round in it. It's like Gary Vee says, that the future's voice, but beyond Alexa skills that haven't even really been developed yet and stuff like that, and assistant skills that we're not even quite at. It's hard to paint a picture of exactly where it's going to go. Super exciting to me. Oh, hey, that Node-RED, you can build all sorts on that without having coding skills, mate. It's legitimately got Twitter nodes, where it will go to Twitter and look for words for you and look for comments. Looking for @XRP Tipbot or #Tipbot that it's now looking for. You know, like that Node-RED was a legitimate system where you can build that kind of thing. I mean, I'm trying to think about what I'm really attached to on this Windows, and it's the Adobe. I can't really get Adobe. I can't get Adobe products on Linux. I don't think. Can't get Adobe. As far as I'm aware, Adobe doesn't work on Ubuntu unless I do this, that, and that, and it's a bit of a inconvenience. So I want to actually keep Windows on one system. So I've got all my Adobe for video creating and Photoshop and whatnot, After Effects, even the PDF. You know, like the Adobe Acrobat for reading PDFs. I want that. But if it wasn't for Adobe right now, and maybe Google Chrome, because it's just easier to bounce through Gmail and Google Drive and all that stuff. They're probably the only things keeping me with Windows on this system now, Adobe and Google Chrome. Otherwise, this would have Ubuntu too, and I'd be on Firefox, and I'd be like, yeah, I'm coming away from Windows. I've realised that they're Apple of PCs. They are the Apple of PCs. It's just you'll use the device the way you're told. Now sit the fuck down. That's literally what it's like. Anyway, pies. It's time to go and get some pies before it ends up too late. Namaste. The God in me sees the God in you. It's always a pleasure, guys. That's the point of the samples of code that they're giving you. Once you understand what a piece of code does, you can change it to suit your project. Exactly, bruh. Exactly. Is this tutorial on Adobe? No, but do you want a tutorial on Adobe? We can do them a little bit. Victoria, I could do Adobe tutorial. I mean, I'm not the best on Adobe. I'll be doing a little bit of that on Love for Media and show people how to set up their own channels and that. I'm going to do that soon. Set up your own YouTube channel, your own Cinnamon, join Coil, start monetizing hobbies, talking about whatever you want. Just get on it, start doing it. Sooner you do it, the sooner you'll never look back. Especially if you pick something that you're passionate about and you actually want to talk about, you'll never look back. As long as a few people are watching, it's legit. But yeah, I'll do some Adobe stuff on Love for Media over the weekend. Keep an eye out over the weekend, and I will do I'll do some monetize your hobbies video. I'll do a monetize your hobby video. For now, it is tea time. Thanks for watching, guys. It is always a pleasure. I appreciate you immensely. Love you all. We love it. Well, did the last investors using the content? Is there? He's alright, him, innit? He's a good guy, him, I think. No danger, Ryan. No danger, mate. If you do want to watch it, though, I went over some Hyperledger stuff, basically showing you all the links and pages that enabled me to set up Hyperledger Fabric testnet, the first network, as a little test network, to know that I could do it and get it up and then start learning what it actually does and get ready for the testnet one, like the version 2. So I'm going to try and understand version 1 as much as I can before version 2 comes out, and then we're good to go. We're with it then, and we're staying up to date with how it works. So yeah, if you want to watch it all, rewind now, and then it won't throw you off, because if you stay on, you're going to get booted when I stop it in a minute. And you won't be able to watch again until it's processed, but it's up to you, mate. And Boris, I think, will pull through. Thoughts and well wishes going to him. I think that as soon as Boris is back in work, I think we'll all be back in work, so we'll have to see what happens with that one. Get well soon, Boris, lad. Yeah. Again, thanks for watching. We love crypto. We love Hyperledger. We love Source Make for putting that Hyperledger video up, mate, because I wouldn't have been able to do it if it wasn't for him. I'd still be struggling. So thanks, bruh. Yeah. Invest in yourself. Invest in your hobbies. Invest in the internet of value. Live long and hodl it. You know the dance. I will see you on the next one, guys. Wishing health and happiness to you and yours. Peace.